Alright, back into it. A little later than I planned to be this morning, but I chose sleep, to be honest. So, we have a thing. Thing exists. It survived. Bizarre. Alright, just swapping the mic to be on my vest rather than my hoodie, because I don't think the hoodie's staying on for very long, to be honest. It was cold walking between the house and the garage. But in the garage, it is not cold. So, I have a thing. Hooray. Now, I'm gonna be very careful with this thing because it's solid, but it still flexes a little bit in places. So I want to be a little bit savvy with it. And what I want to do is support it where it needs supporting. My little silicone wedges. And then what I want to do is fill any gaps that need filling. In fairness, it doesn't look too bad. I did a lot of gap filling yesterday. As soon as I got the cast off, I went along the inside. And I'll try and carefully show this on cam, because moving the camera is going to be a pain. But what I did was went along the insides, along the edges, and just filled them in with a mixture of plaster and watered down PVA, just in any of the areas that hadn't quite been filled properly. So I've got, hopefully, a more accurate line. So, now is sweaty part, where I'm going to try and get the foam out as carefully as I possibly can. We'll see how this plays out. But it's definitely going to be interesting. So, yeah, wish me luck. Because I don't particularly want to have to slide a palette knife around the inside. So that's just going to mess with all of the edges that I so meticulously filled. But it's going to be a lot of kind of trying to carefully tease bits away to varying degrees of success. I'm just gonna carefully make my way around. Because there are bits that are going to crack. When they do, I will just have to mess with them after the fact, really. Main thing is this comes away. try to maintain those edges that I filled. That's not going to be easy where there's crossover. If I have to go back retroactively and fill stuff later, I'm not particularly phased. So all I really need this mold for is a rough fiberglass base I can cast from it. After that point, I can finesse some stuff. So clear away that whole section. So I'm going to leave that for a second. Okay. Deals with most of that side. And I approach this from over here instead. Yes, I can. Excellent. Right. That gets rid of that half. Okay. Definitely going to have some messing around to do bits of this. But that's fine. That's just going to be the plaster PVA mix. Just kind of smoothed on there. Just to stop it from disintegrating, really. Pain. Might attack this from the top. Dead. Yeah, that's better. This bit's just caught up in there. Pull that away. And then I have the mold of the thing. Ha ha ha. Where do I put you for now? Just in case everything goes to shit. Getting rid of that. So, from here, I'm going to attempt to carefully brush debris away. And I'll focus on this left side first. because it's a little early in the morning to be using a vacuum cleaner for this. So, and I don't, now that there's nothing in there to support it, I don't want to just pick it up and kind of move it about to dispel any of the chunks of plaster. That just seems like a terrible idea. So I'm going to not do that. And I will just brush the loose bits from this side first. Out the way. And this is a little bit strong enough that I can just leave it for now, so I will. Just needs flattening down, really. And that'll be okay. And once the worst of this is out of the way, I'm going to mix up some plaster and glue. Just going to go along this inside at the problem points. Just to make it less sketch, really. Yeah, that's the plan. I'll probably use a rusty palette knife, because it's a little smaller than a paint scraper, so I kind of think that's going to be better. I can scrape some of the resin off of it from last time. I should have done at the time, but there you go. Right, that sorts that out. So, let me just attempt to clear this all out a little bit. And screw it, probably fine. No, it's not fine, just use a new thing. Oh. I'll just use a new thing. I've ordered a bunch of cups anyway, so I can really afford to use a cup at this point. It'll be fine. So I will do that. I have a bottle of watered down PVA, and I'm just going to mix some plaster and then, yeah, just kind of bath with it, really. I'll get one of the thinner palette knives out as well, just for the super awkward corners and stuff. So this is something that I didn't do last time. I just went in with the fiberglass, and then it was such a pain to get out of all the bandage that was exposed that I just didn't deal with. So I'm hoping this will kind of help with that. Like, I'm still expecting it to be pain to get out, but hopefully it will be less of a pain. That would be ideal. But we'll see. Mostly just as a means of trying to stop everything from disintegrating. Because it shouldn't. But I don't intend to risk that regardless. But, you know. I'm just going to mix up bit at a time. I know me, and I can't work quickly. No matter how much I try, I just can't do it. Just use a tiny bit at a time, and carefully work my way along. I am going to be aiming to keep this fairly liquid, because plaster sucks up moisture like no one's business. Because it's going onto something that's already dry, it's going to dry out obscenely quickly. So I'm going to keep it pretty fluid. As much as possible. It will just dry out. Just going to mess with it until I have a decent amount of water and glue. And then I'll just add powder bit by bit, and then, yeah, pack it on there. Really? Looks like it'll be fine. Then I treat it kind of like mixing pancake batter. Like, you add a bit at a time, and then mix it so you don't get lumps. That's kind of the strat. Then I'm not looking to whack this down thick. That's going to mess with the internal cast, and that defeats the whole point. So this is very much just try and support flakier areas and the areas where the bandage wasn't really covered in much plaster. Probably okay. I don't want it to go down too wet, because then it's just going to weaken what's already down. If there's not enough plaster, then it just isn't going to do the job. And I am in a dust mask again. Clarify. Got a fan on, so it's better than not, but I can't quite open any doors yet. Still a bit too liquidy. After this, it should be fine. And it will dry out crazy fast when it actually goes on. Ordinarily, this would be too wet. It's going to dry out pretty much immediately. I might even use the brush and get this down. We'll see. I'll start with a smaller palette knife and see how I go. I'm going to do the brush. I think the brush is going to be sensible. That's going to be the best way of getting this down quickly. I'm just going to take it up. Yeah, it's already dried on there. Nuts. Just taking it up where the bandage is exposed. Just to try. Give that a little extra support. Now, when it comes to the fiberglass cast that I get out of this, I will be messing with it a lot in post. So, I'm not super worried, really. This is just as a means of preventing things from falling to bits, really. It is quite crumbly. I'm not super worried about the actual surface texture, so long as the shape of it is accurate. fill in these recesses up here. Gonna help me out down the line. That's where I'm gonna want to try and get fiberglass, which is gonna be tricky, but do well. In theory, getting this cast should have been the more difficult element. So from here, I'm hoping it should be pretty okay. A brush is definitely the easier way to go with this. And the beauty of having this mixed be so fluid is that it's not going to dry out as quickly in the cup. That's nice. As much as I'm trying to be quick with it, it can only be so quick. I'm mostly concerned these edges. And my main focus. They're going to be the weaker areas. That's not too bad. I'm putting this down kind of, it doesn't look like it, but kind of sparingly. Because again, I don't want to affect like the actual shape of stuff. Just right. Stabilize certain areas. Probably gonna have to do a couple of passes. It's only so much I can put down at a time, or I'm going to end up peeling it off again. So, look, what's down here? Probably going to have to spin it round so I can actually see those edges. I'll work on these bits first, so at least I can see them. You can see how quickly that dries. Super, super quickly. Big old crack in there that I can fill. what I think I'm going to do is say that yes, I cast these in one big block, but I think it would be smart of me to end up with two molds, two silicon molds at the end of this, because trying to cast my other piece in one was firstly stupidly difficult, and secondly, getting it on and off is just going to be irritating. So I'm thinking I'm going to separate out my other piece regardless. So I think I will save myself the pain and have two molds to begin with this piece. Because I'd always intended for them to be separate anyway. So it's not actually going to be a problem, I wouldn't have thought. So let me just spin this so that I can see its edge up in here. Try and get to it before all this dries. It's starting to harden in the cup now, which is a problem. It's going solid in here. It's going to go solid far too quickly. This is kind of sort of leaning toward unusable now. Anyway. Yeah, that's kind of not really going to help me out. So I'm going to cut my losses and get rid of that. No, though. be useful elsewhere. Yeah, I can fill in some cracks on the outside with it. Stop stuff splitting. Okay, I can get away with pasting it on the inside of this. That's doable. Again, I'm super wary of affecting the structure. So, that dries out too quick. I'm just going to cut my losses. Going with plan A. I hate wasting things, but it would be dumb of me to try and use this right now. So, time to cut my losses. Try and fish out as much of this as I can. Or I mix up some more, and I'll just try and mix up even less this time. Didn't exactly mix up a whole bunch beforehand, but there you go. And then this will all dry down. So I'm expecting I can mess with all of this initially. Have it dry down pretty quick while I'm getting breakfast or whatever. And then I can come straight back and deal with the fiberglass. That's the plan. Looking mostly cleared out, so I can probably use this again without having to worry a whole bunch. Seems like it's probably going to be fine. Let's roll with that. It's kind of sticky in places because of the glue, but whatevs. That's fine. I need to put more glue in there, so what does it matter really? Mostly just because I don't want to get like the annoying little bits I can't iron out caught up in there. I believe probably deals with most of it. Right. Good enough. So, have a drink real quick, because I will forget. Round 2. Shout some more of this. Have some more of the plaster water from yesterday. Not as much. Maybe a little bit more. Should be tons. Break off some of the plaster from this brush preemptively. As long as it's vaguely brush-like, fine, to be honest. So I'm not sure how today is going to pan out. There are several things that I could be getting on with, but it depends on whether a friend of mine gets back to me about the possibility of doing something very, very cool. So, we'll see. If he does, then I will definitely be doing that. And I'll explain myself if it happens. So, yeah. Trust me, it's relevant to this, and it's extremely cool. But it depends if he's willing and able. That remains to be seen. Messaged him this morning, and then was kind of, you know, hovering around my phone as I'm taking my meds and whatever. And then it occurred to me, like, yo, it's like 3 in the morning. It's not going to get back to you. I do forget being awake at the times that I am is not typical. Just what you get used to be honest. As I say, I got up a little bit later this morning. Just a couple hours. Alarm went off as it usually does, and I thought, no, I am still tired. Moved it forward by a couple hours. Got up, thought, I could go for sleeping more, but also I'm not actually tired anymore, so I'm just gonna get up. So that seems reasonable. Still pretty fluid. Probably needs a bit more. Before I do that, try and get rid of as much of this as I can. So I'm definitely going to want to start messing with the other side. Let's see. Oh, I reckon I can use that. I reckon I can use that. And start by finishing up here that I want to. It's not horrendous, to be fair. A little bit of this. Can't see super well, so bit where that is. That's better. So, for a couple of passes, just be enough to stop things from shattering, basically. This is quite a bit wider than the hole that I had for the other piece. I'm a little more dubious around things just kind of flexing. Okay. When things are more contained, they tend to be a lot stronger. Yeah. In theory, this should help with that. Even having mixed considerably less than last time, it's still drying out real quick. Now, I could just give everything kind of a quick sand before I start casting. It'll have to be very gentle and very much just get rid of all the tiny little lumpy bits rather than actually trying to smooth anything. If I get rid of too much, that just defeats the whole point of doing this to begin with. bunch of bits up in them. It's a surprise. That's getting pretty solid. I mix it up, it kind of revives it for a second. So I'm going to try and slap on as much as I can. Without compromising any of the shapes. Past that point, I'm not sure how much of this I can actually use. Let's use some of this to fill that gap. Definitely too solid now. Use for anything else. Just try and fill any cracks that I can see on the outside. This. Again, because I hate wasting anything. At this point, it's just so solid. Really not going to be able to do anything else. From this point, it is pretty much useless. So I'll get rid of this and mix up some more, blah, blah, blah. Try and do even less. deals with most of it. So rinse, repeat. And I need to remember to get pictures as I go. Because I will not remember. Because I never do. Right. That's probably going to be enough. Use this again. Let's try to use this. Get too many chunks of old plaster caught in, that's all. That's a teeny tiny bit, so... Okay. Hopefully, I'll have an easier time, I think. This needs more water. I don't know. There's quite a lot of glue in there. I think I'm going to add a tiny bit more water. Needs to be enough plaster in there for it to actually do something. I don't want there to be so much. It dries out immediately. tiny, tiny amount. Hopefully, we get somewhere with that before it dries. Where do I need to get to? Fix that. More up in here. Okay. Probably make my life easier if I spun this around. Hindsight and all that. I think that's actually like a fairly prevalent problem with me. I'm so used to things being difficult that I often struggle to identify where I could make my life considerably easier. It's splitting. Does not fill me with confidence. At least it's splitting in the middle, which is where I would end up splitting it anyway. once again, what I have mixed has gone hard. Some I can actually see that much better anyway. Mostly just trying to, break this at this point, to be honest. Would be annoying. Right, pull that there, because it's definitely too solid. I'm not wasting tons. More than I'd like, but not tons. Just try and finish those edges off. Go back over any of the bits on the other side that I'm not stoked with. And see how long that takes me. Apparently even that can take arguably only because of how quickly everything dries. Like if I could mix up a ton at a time and just go on, then it'd be fine. But third I can't. No. Ah, morning. You are definitely going to be tired today. Yes. You. Yeah, you're meant to be in today, right? It's blue and yellow, I think. That is true. first and silly, which is needed for today's third. Amazing. Cool. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Hope you had fun yesterday, though. Your 10 a.m. excursion. Good. Yeah, okay. Ooh, each. That's a yank. I mean, mm, I was about to be that guy and say, well, if you haven't slept, then but also blue and yellow, so I know I would feel bad if I were in your position and I was being relied on for the ancillary for the day's third. Debating what date I should put on my notice again. Well, how much notice do you have to give? Like a couple of weeks, right? Really don't want to do this anymore? Yeah, no. Tell me about it. Categorically no. 2 weeks, yeah. Well, realistically, when are you planning on actually handing this over? Like Monday? If so, I would do 2 weeks from Monday. Thinking 8th of August, which is 5 actual weeks, but 7 weeks. Yeah, Monday. Well, personally, that won't go down well with Mum. Oh, who cares, man? Your life. Your life. Start living it. So I'd say check your rota, see what your working days actually are, and then work backwards from there. It depends what day would be nicer to leave on. That's what I'd start with. I'd look at a couple of weeks from Monday and go, okay, if I were to leave on the Monday, what would I be working around that time? Because you can always add a few days. Might do 28th because that's 3 weeks. Then I've got the 31st off to go to Bath anyway. Well, there you go. Then play it like that. Now, just make sure that you have the date. You have the date on there for the Monday that you're planning to hand it over, and then you express the date in there for your last day. The same way that I did on mine that I sent you. Everything's nice and crystal clear. No one can pretend they didn't know it. Obviously, a people pleaser, and I feel bad letting the lab down. I don't technically have to be anywhere afterwards, but I no longer enjoy my job, and I'm just grumpy and stressed. Yeah. And the trouble with that lab is that it is sounds slightly extreme, but the kinds of bonds you form in there are like trauma bonds. So you end up caring a whole bunch because you're all exposed to just the most ridiculous conditions all the time. And you end up caring about each other a whole lot. So then when it comes to stuff like this, you always default to like, but I don't want to let the lab down. And it's a catch-22. It ends up being the only thing that keeps you there. Way too intense. Yeah. No, it absolutely is. 110% is completely insane. So, yeah, just duck out. Like, everyone will understand. I leave my tasks fall on the others. Yeah. No, I know. But the way that I approached it when I ducked out was like, yes, all the stuff that I was doing was then going to fall onto Dan and Aaron, which I hate, obviously. But the way I approached it was it might give them the push that they need to also leave. Because my ideal scenario would be that everyone in that lab gets out, does something better. That's my good ending. And hoping that in leaving, I have helped inspire other people to do the same. Today, still 5 minutes. Aaron won't leave, we know this. You say that. He's closer than he's ever been. Although I did see that he was down for overtime today, so take that with a barrel of salt. But that's him. I'm not surprised by that. But I reckon by the time Dan is out, he's not going to have a choice. There will be nothing and no one left to keep him sane. Not really. Like, I know that he loves his team. That Amy's going, Anju's going. Shoga is an absolute trooper, good god. But, like, as far as his kind of core people, he's going to be down a whole bunch. Teams are changing. He got out and then came back. Wait, who did? Oh, what, Shoga? I thought you meant like Amy or Anju, and I was about to be livid. Yeah, no, Shoga's situation was super unfortunate. And I hope she also manages to find something better. It's that everyone's immaculate, honestly. They're all great. And I want the entire lab to just peace out and never go back. And I include Chris in that, obviously. Especially Chris. Can't fault anyone, exactly. They're all immaculate. I miss them all. Just want what's best for them. And that place is not good for anyone. Not even close. Chris got to go. This place is not doing him any favours. No. No, it isn't. Actually, it's a weekend, so I might try and get hold of Chris. See what he's up to. See if he wanted to hang out. I love him to bits. And he really needs people. He might be doing drama stuff. Yeah. Well, I might be doing stuff with a mate of mine today or tomorrow, depending on his availability. So I'll wait for him to get back to me first, and depending on what he says, I might try and give Chris a poke. I think he'd appreciate it. Be back in like 10 minutes, gotta go shower. Fair enough. You do you. I will be here doing this. Why is there a fly on here? Go away. It's so unhelpful. Really? Stay there for a second. I have to deal with this before it dries. I do not miss that place. I miss the people chronically, but I don't miss that place. Definitely gave me the push I needed to say, got it, doing my own thing. I will make it work. Too stubborn not to, realistically. Always been something I could rely on. I never had any choice but to have. It's a little bit sketch at the minute because I've got various deadlines, but once the deadlines are out the way, I can focus. In fairness, I hadn't exactly planned to get in my job when I did. It came out of necessity. I intended to hold out until after Comic Con in October. But it came to a point where like that just wasn't going to be possible, and was forced. It's all too solid. So try and reinforce this bit again. Because what I'm planning to do is fiberglass it in one piece. And when I'm making the molds, I'll make 2 molds. Because I want to have the fiberglass piece come out so that all of the angles are right. If I know that they're right the whole time, they stay attached. That's my thinking. while I remember, I'm going to take some pics. I'm going to have to move this bloody fly, though. Right, you, come on. There. Out of my thing, please. There you go. Go away. Go on. Ah, daylight. Wonderful. Incredibly, the moth that I'd caught earlier managed to lift up. He was under, but the paper stayed where it is. Go on, sir. You can leave. Up is open. I'll just leave him where he is for now, I suppose. Stuck him on a flower. He'll be alright. Better not wind up coming back in here, though. I'll be fuming. Fairness, I stuck him right down the end of the garden, so hopefully he'll just hang down there, and I can get some air in here, which would be nice. I will get a few bits. I will start making some notes for myself for today, which is the 5th. Why is that capitalized? Don't do that. Notes made, hopefully. Won't forget things. Clear out what's left in here. Actually, don't have a whole lot that I wasted there, which is nice. So I guess I'll just try and do the same sort of amount again. Tedious, but I'd rather that and not waste stuff. That is my preferred. Oh, I need to angle this so that I can see edge up there. wary of the fragility of this. I am very wary. I can see that. It's supposed to be cloudy. I am so stuck. I can get so much more done when the weather is on my side. That'll be good enough. I return. I'm now substantially more awake. That is a plus. You won the early. I'm assuming you're probably going in early regardless. Indeed. Not on early, so I still have an hour before I need to leave. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I'll be here for at least that, so you are welcome to just vibe or whatever at your discretion. But keep cracking with this. Absolutely no one else can do early. I'll go in, but it's not my first choice anymore. Bye. I mean, obviously, it used to work out perfectly for me, but now that that's no longer a factor, doesn't give me enough time in the morning if I don't feel well. Too much pressure. Fair enough. You're feeling unwell a lot. Yeah, I'm not surprised, realistically. Not particularly. I do think you're doing the right thing by jacking it all in slightly earlier than planned. You're going to want to go into uni best you can. Not top form, but as close as you can get to top form. Thinking just now about end date. Obviously, my mum thinks I'm leaving way too early, blah, blah, blah. I bet someone doesn't work in it. Yeah, literally. Like, you don't know until you work in there. It's going to be brutal. But uni in general, you need to treat it with caution and sensibility. And I think a lot of parents tend to view those kinds of things as like, oh, well, uni's all fun and games anyway. No, you need to treat it like a job. And you need to be looking after yourself before you go to get the best start. Yeah, literally. But I think this is a sensible decision. And obviously, I have the bias of having worked in that environment and knowing that it is horrendous. So, and it's one of those things like you kind of can't do it justice when you explain it to other people. Like, you genuinely need to have lived it to understand how bad it is. Add more water. That's where I went wrong in my undergrad. In the right headspace to do it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's not. You just end up wasting time and money. You have a busy work day, doesn't get time to be still sitting down all day. Yeah, yeah. That's that's something that I never I suppose I never really gave that a lot of thought about the lab. You are literally on your feet all day, every day. But because I exist on my feet and I prefer it, that was a factor that never really bothered me. Like, I like to be active. I feel worse when I'm sat down. But for most people, that is a whole thing. You get a chance to check email some days. Yeah, no, for sure. Never used to. It's only because shift lead, blah, 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 that I took on the admin. That was the side that was being missed by the other two. So I thought, well, here's a way I can help. That's the only reason I ever knew anything. I would allocate myself time in the mornings to go through all of that. But regular techs don't get time, categorically. Even seniors struggle. Oh, fair enough. I've always been a morning person. I say I've known myself properly. I've come to terms with being a morning person. I get most of my work done. That's a good way of being. Definitely someone who likes to get stuff out of the way. If there's something that's bothering me, then I'd very much rather just get on with it. The longer things are put off, the worse I feel. always super relieved to get stuff done. I think that's just a lot of my character as well. Even talking with my therapist guy, he was saying like, if you ever relax, and I said no, I don't like to. I don't enjoy it. I take no pleasure from being idle. He pointed out like, relaxing doesn't mean that you're idle. You can be doing stuff. It's whatever you use to recharge, and that just kind of helped reframe it for me. I've never been idle. Like, I just feel gross when I am. But there are certain tasks that I do that are like my recharge tasks. When I told the Sard I was leaving, felt such relief. Yeah, but it's not that long to wait though. I think I've got to make it shorter. Yeah, for sure. At the moment, I don't have the energy to even play Sims. Yeah, like it's been since I quit and threw the V's up on my way out. It's been so strange because like I've been busier than I've ever been, but I've had time to play games. Like just little things like I'll be on Terraria for a couple hours in the afternoon before dinner and then bed, etc. But like I've just felt like playing games again. And it was so strange. I hadn't really given it a lot of thought, but it had been such a long time since I'd been just kind of on my own and thought, you know what? Yeah, I'll just play a mellow single player game. I used to do that stuff all the time. And hindsight's 2020, blah blah blah, but like I knew that job had taken a lot from me. But I had been ignoring the extent, really. 7 weeks is disgusting. Definitely shorten that sucker. 110%. Used to get home, play 2 hours of games, have dinner, play another hour or two, then bed. I just don't do anything. Yeah. Yeah. Is a slippery slope. The only reason I managed for as long as I did was because I had my routines. As soon as those started getting affected, everything just kind of crumbled. But I'm glad that I've done what I've done. I regret nothing. I have become more at peace with starting over and accepting that, like, it's not going to be into this. Like, oh yeah, I'll spend a week doing a load of admin, and then I'll just jump straight into no, it's not how starting a business works. But I'd nowhere knowing that. Now I'm getting more kind of comfortable and like this is going to take a while, and I'm going to be frustrated on a pretty regular basis. But the fact that I'm frustrated means that I care. So I'm doing the right thing. To get myself back before I can move it across the country. Yeah, literally. Literally. Like you need to have that time to reset. Matters. Oh, it's chucking it down outside. Effort. As long as it doesn't blow in here, I'll be alright. Yeah, you need to have that time. Because otherwise, like you say, you're just going in on the back foot. Something that I've had to learn since I quit was that my limits are real. Like I'd told Thermo what they were, and they ignored as much of it as they could as far as the shift pattern went. And kind of quit there and was like, right, cool, now I'm done with that. I can just get on with working all day, every day. No, because your limits are real. And everything that I told them was real. It doesn't matter what the work is, there comes a point where I can't function. And recognizing that sucks, but since I've kind of gone, okay, fine, I suppose I'm not the immortal vampire I thought I was, it's made me more receptive to limits, and I'm able to recognize stuff quicker. And I'm able to say to myself, like, right, you have to stop now, because if you don't, you're going to be non-functional for the whole of the next day. That's going to be way more annoying than quitting a couple of hours ahead of where you want it. The lesser of the evils. Not raining here. Okay. Probably will soon. But yeah. Acknowledging limitations is important. And because of the environment I grew up in, I learned to value martyrdom. Now that I'm not in that environment anymore, I have to unlearn it because it's unhelpful. It actually limits me more than it helps me. I just know if I don't take a proper break, I'll be burnt out. Yeah, literally. It is that simple. There is no point in wearing yourself out before you even start. It's like PE in school. Whenever you had sports days, and you had all the sporty girls that were running warm-ups before their races, and they were just kind of basically flexing on each other. I never fraternise with any of that. But I'll just, stretch my legs out and then I'm good. And then, by the time they're done, they're passing out, throwing up, like actually dead on their feet. And I'm chilling. I'm fine. Because I deliberately didn't exert myself beforehand. I didn't care. I didn't care what people thought. I just did what I needed to. Something Mum clearly has never dealt with, so there's no point in even trying to explain. Yeah, just don't bother. Oh, that's my last day, and then that's my final decision. Yes. One of those things that only you know what works for you. Exactly. Exactly. And this past month, I've been testing so much in the way of like my personal limits. It's been trial and error every single day, just tweaking things here and there, trying to figure out what actually works for me. And I think I've managed to narrow it down pretty effectively. But it's still going to vary on a case-by-case basis. Like, no 2 days are going to be the same. So if I have to adapt, I have to adapt. If you're going into this with a fairly decent knowledge of a baseline, that's already a huge advantage. Just got to learn to put myself first. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Self-worth is extremely important. It will be the factor that determines the rest of your life. Right. As soon as you realize that you can rely on yourself for stuff, no one can touch you. They'll try. But they won't get through. They're only setting boundaries in place. My mum's mind being selfish. Yeah, but as we've established, not real. She can say what she likes. Doesn't make it real. Can tell you that black is white. Doesn't make it real. I was originally going to use like blue as red, but then was like color blindness, so I'll go with that instead. Just unlearning, yes. It is incredibly difficult, and even with the years' experience that I have at this point, there are certain things that you can't get rid of. You just have to learn to recognize them, tell them to do one, then continue. You'll always have that embedded parent in your head that's chatting shit. It just comes back down to it's not real. is considerably better than it was. Would be a lot more stable. Can I get away with quick one of these? Barely. Just about. So, hold that up. That side. At this point, I'm going to say I can probably work on this. Should be fine. Good thing. We hope. So, I get rid of any of the annoying bits that are hanging over. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, no, I can. Okay. That's a plus. Oh, this bit. Solid. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to take this bit. No. Probably just going to have to leave that. That can be a future me problem. Well, hey. Cool. By the way, do you know if there's a time frame for these bracelets? Oh, okay. I think it was for Ava's birthday, which is early August. I think. I could be wrong though. Should probably double check. I don't think there was a specific deadline for those. When I say early August, I think it is like very early August. I'm a bad person. I don't remember the dates. The only reason I remember my nan's birthday is because it's the day before Christmas Eve. Cool. Say 25th July. Sure. That's fine. I would expect that to be fine. Honest. Okay. I don't think I'm going to manage to get all of the fragments out of here. Got most of them, so seems like it'll be fine. now I'm going to wax this to oblivion. And then probably stick on the blue mold release as well. This is the same birthday as my mum. Okay. I can actually picture Grace's surprise as well. I can see in my mind exactly how she'd respond. It's funny. Oh, I miss yellow. The absolute legends that they are. But they're all very solid, so I trust them all to look after each other. We do this away from the plaster cast, because if I jolt, I knock it, and it shatters, I will do something bad. It's about to be very explicit with how I would proceed. Decided I wouldn't do that on stream. Say it every time, but I hate just annoying. Anyway. I know. Sponge is back here. Yes, it is. Right. I'm going to slap a load of wax onto this, ready to fiberglass it. It's going to drag off a ton of this sponge. Yeah, that's going to get annoying. Okay. Let me find a cloth instead. I'm just going to leave too many bits everywhere. That's going to get super obnoxious. It'd be better to use a sponge, not sponge cloth. Am I even paying attention at this point? Are there any cloths out here, though? Or can I just use a brush for it instead? The cloth is going to be better. Objectively. Must be something out here that I can use. Can't use that. They use that to drag resin off of their brushes. You've been tidying your room, really? Before work? A little sadistic. No. I can probably use whatever this is. Try and chop a piece off. Oh, no one's going to miss this. Pretty sure it's because it's mine anyway, so choose to believe that's fine. It was like you couldn't walk over my floor. I've been bed rotting for 2 days. Ugh. Yeah, screw that. I actually keep things very tidy now. Now that I have the time to do so, shockingly. Who would have guessed? It's actually a fairly constant thing. Even the garage. It's like, historically, it would very much be a case of garage is garage, I'll get around to it. Now it's like, no, I have the time to fix all of this, so I am going to. Because, like, mess is part of the process. But that doesn't mean that I enjoy existing within it. So it is quite nice to just regularly clear things up. Get up in these corners real good. They're going to suck. Now I fully expect all of this to still stick to the fiberglass. But at least I have tried. It's all getting absorbed in very quickly. Don't mind mess, it's when it gets dirty. Ugh, yeah, see, that's never a thing. It never, not like in my bedroom or anything. In the garage, can't really help it. Like, you get leaves and stuff and mud and whatever. In my bedroom, like, no, that doesn't happen. I could never. In fairness, there's not really any reason for my bedroom to end up dirty. I don't traipse mud through the house or anything. In fairness, I do vacuum in there. Even when I was at Thermo, I would still find the time to vacuum everything aggressively. It would always be on a day off. take a lot of waxing. Yes, I think I might be able to all the mold release on and actually get fiberglass in this before I feel the need to get breakfast. I got up later, so actually might be able to do this in a one. Famous last words though. Every chance that I change my mind. I can make my life easier for myself. Kinda for all the nooks and crannies and stuff. Pasta's just soaking this up. Which is what I expected in fairness. So can't say I'm surprised. It's gonna take me a while. Go back to what I was doing originally. Probably have an easier time. Bigger kind of cloth. I have a thing now and I intend to use it. See things cracking in places. I'm not a fan of that. Still think a brush might have been easier. working. You can see it working. A little bit annoying. Shards of plaster between my toes. That's messed up. Wonder. Cat in my garden watching me. Ominous. Just a cat? Or a known cat? Well, that's going to be a longer brush. Use that one, that's too nice. One's too small. Decisions, decisions. That one's covered in wood stain. Probably going to be my best option. Although there are toothbrushes. Seems like it would work very well. Give that a go. Never seen it before. Black and white cat sitting under the stack of chairs. Ooh, ominous. I like the idea of using a toothbrush, but also I'm not sure what else has been on these toothbrushes. If they end up affecting the cure of the resin, I'm going to commit. So I can say that because I didn't say what I was going to commit. Anything else? Not really, no. I guess I will use the brush. Let's see what happens. A whole lot by all accounts. At least use it to get in along the edges. They are going to be a problem. I think it's working, but it's kind of difficult to tell. I might just use a brush, get in under these bits, and go back to using a cloth again. Really not sure whether this is working as well as I would like it to. Honest. may just go back to the original plan. You've got to leave soon, haven't you? Like I can feel this bowing. The opposite of fun. It is time for me to depart. I thought it probably would be. Good luck. Hoping nothing goes horrendously wrong. Just the usual brand of wrong. Fixable kind, I suppose. We shall find out. Shit. Laters. In a bit. Godspeed. The odds be forever in your favour. increasingly concerned over how brutal I'm being with all of this. I think what I'll do, I'll brush on a bunch, and then I'll kind of wipe it around after the fact. This plaster really is just absorbing it immediately. And as I expected that to be the case. I just don't really want to be particularly forceful with this. Not really. Rather not. It's breaking in the middle. Which is bad. Figure out where it actually wants to be, which is about there. Goes in and under. And then I need to have something. Hold this up. Be one of those, I think. Otherwise it's going to end up too wide. So, what I'm inclined to do is call it quits as far as waxing it. Because it's just getting progressively more sketch. Stick on the other kind of mold release that I've got. Have all of that round. Eventually I'll pick the shard of glass out of my finger. Got stuck in there. Trying to pick up this. Put it back in here. I did. Okay. I'll whack some gloves on to do that. Get rid of this though. Seems pretty reasonable. Let me stick some gloves on before I do this. I'm going to quickly check my messages because once I start, I'm going to be covered in stuff. Right. Where are they? They're up here. Good. Sponges that I've used for this before. So I'm going to go along with this. How did I do this before? I think I poured it all in the container. Yeah, looks like I used this one last time. Do the same again. Pour some of that in there. Just use it a bit at a time. And I'm going to try and dab this around here, there, and everywhere. Starting with the awkward, hard to reach places up in the very corners. And my visibility is going to be frustratingly limited because I don't want to move this around anymore. To be honest, it's been reasonably fragile. So don't want to mess with it at this point. As much as possible, I just want to leave it where it is. And just do my best with the angles I've got. This is exposing quite a few hairline cracks in the plaster, which would explain a lot. Just need it to survive being fiberglassed. That's all I need. Definitely glass stuck in that finger because it's throbbing. I have to deal with that at some point. Obviously, if it was anyone else, I'd say deal with it immediately and come back to this, but once again, do as I say, not as I do. First aid comes first. Fairness, if it was something that I was genuinely worried about, I would go and deal with it. Like when I got acetone splashed up my arm. It's only a little bit, but even then. Once I've done this, I'm going to go over the top with another kind of mold release. I'll do that right before I go to fiberglass it. I'll leave this kind of dry first. I might go have a look at getting that glass out of my finger. think I may have actually poured out too much of this to begin with. Oh, my bad. Misjudged that one. Very aware of the angles on a lot of these. Don't want to mess with the way everything fits together. There. So many awkward angles. As bad as yesterday for that. Oh, I can use the mirror actually, that's fun. I could have used the mirror this whole time. I've forgotten I still have that there. Yeah, that's super helpful. Alright. Better late than never, I suppose. Now I can kind of see bits that haven't quite covered. Those little some crannies. Under there's actually not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. Just see if I can get a little bit more along the areas that I think are going to be a more prevalent issue. I use the mirror again. Yes, I can. Ah, okay. Nice. Give me a better idea. Yeah, I'll finish up with this. Then I will go take a little bit of time out. Probably eat something. I'm not particularly hungry, but I should try. Try and get this piece of glass out my hand. And then in that time, all of this can be primed down. And so on. By the time I get back, I should be in a position to just spray a little extra mold release. Good measure. And then just crack on with fiberglassing it, really. I know what's going to happen. If I don't take the time, I'm going to jump straight into it. I'm going to be here for much longer than I should. And if I haven't eaten anything, it's just going to end poorly. So it all worked out yesterday. I was sensible. Oh, I need to do the same thing today. Start as I mean to go on, and all that good stuff. But yeah, once I've used the last of this, I'll cool the stream, and I will reboot again to continue. I wouldn't have thought I'll even be gone for an hour, really. But, let's see. See how it goes, because as I say, I'm not really hungry. So I'll go eat like some cereal or something. It depends how long it takes to get this piece of glass out my hand. So yeah, to be honest, hoping to be back and getting on with this fairly quickly. Like I'd just BRB if I trusted myself with the glass removal, but I'm not sure how long that's actually going to take me. It's safer to just haul it for now. Plus, it makes saving the VODs a lot easier. Just do it in little chunks. So, yeah. It just makes sense. Cool, that seems okay. So I will leave that as it is for now. Hoping that all of this is pretty stable. As far as angles, just trying to keep it even. Looks better. I'm going to say that is probably fine. Wedge up under here wherever I can. Right, I'm going to say that is fine for now. I'll duck out for a bit, grab some cereal, try and find this piece of glass, and then I'll come back to crack on with fiberglass and stuff. Might try and mess with the angle of the camera as well, so it's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. But yeah, it's all future me stuff. So I'll be back soon. But for now, I'll catch you in a bit.